Hey guys, welcome to the ASL Wildcard qualifier. I am Artosis, and I will be bringing you all the action here today. So basically, this is for Flash's spot, right? Flash got second place in last season. All the top four get seeds into the round of 16, but because Flash will not be participating due to his wrist and his arm, we have to figure out who that's going to be that's replacing him in the round of 16, which is huge because then you don't have to go through the qualifiers and you get to choose players for your group in the round of 16, skipping the best of one phase of the tournament. So this is absolutely huge. And this is going to be an amazing match here today. The players playing for it, of course, will be the round of 8 players. So no Terran players here today, as both of our Terran players that made round of 8 also made round of 4 in Light and Flash. But let's take a look at who we're going to have. So this was ASL Season 21's round of 8 bracket. So you can see these eliminated players: Hero, Tulbo, Jaedong, and Snow. They are going to be the players who are playing today for this next this seed that Flash is giving up, basically. Big shoes to fill, but these are some very, very strong players. And I'm sure you guys must be very excited for ASL Season 22 to be starting up once again. And I got to tell you, this is like such a good set of matches. Look at this. Snow versus Jaedong. Absolutely an insane match. Like, this is easily, well, obviously all these guys are in the round of 8, but this is easily like a round of 8, round of 4, possibly even finals level match. Jaedong and Snow, two of the very top players for their races. Cannot wait for that. But then we have a little bit of a mismatch, I think, over on the other side. Tulbo versus Hero. I think that is very, very Hero favored. We're going to see about that, if that is going to be the case. Like, Tulbo has been playing well. He definitely has, I would say, more blunders than any other very strong player, but we'll see how he plays here today. His Protoss vs. Zerg has been greatly improved. Now, taking a look at our players, we, of course, have Snow. Snow is probably the strongest player in the world that has not won ASL as of yet. I recently made a video about that on my Artosis TV YouTube channel. I suggest you go check that out. But like, this guy is the ultimate gatekeeper to being a champion. He loses almost only to the player who's going to win the season. That's like the type of shape that he's been in for a very long time. And I think that is he the favorite for today? I actually don't think that he is. And this is part of the reason why. He's going up against Jaedong first. Jaedong is in unbelievable shape. Honestly, Jaedong could have potentially won last season. Now, hear me out. I know he got kind of wiped by Light, but I was talking about this last season before he played. Light is the worst matchup in the world for Jaedong. A worse matchup than Flash by miles. If you look back to previous seasons as well, I say this every season, like, Light's specific style, the brick wall style that he plays with the very strong bio-esque timing attacks, are what kills Jaedong. So I think that was a terrible matchup for Jaedong. I think him against anyone else would have been a better, closer match. Like, Light is his kryptonite, but Light's not in this tournament right now. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the first map. We're not wasting any time here. It's going to be knockout for map number 1, Snow versus Jaedong. Oh my God, I'm getting wiggly. This is going to be fantastic. And here we go. All right, in the top left, our Protoss player, one of the best in the world. In my opinion, the second best player in the world. It's Snow. And in the bottom left, we have the greatest Zerg of all time. It is Jaedong. Whew, all right. You can see already a big crowd turning out for this very first day of ASL. Of course, it's not like exactly an ASL day. This is the ASL wildcard match. This will determine who's taking over Flash's seed once again. But then we're going to have the ASL Opens, as well as the ASL qualifiers. Okay, so that is a lot of content before we get to the proper ASL season. Of course, the proper ASL season, it'll be the same as last season, myself and Tasteless casting it. It'll be going up on our Soup channels immediately, and then it will be uploaded about a day later to the Soup esports channel on YouTube. the English one, of course. And forgive me if the sound is just slightly off. This is a new season, so I'm still dialing it in a little bit. But yeah, for the ASL wildcard match, for the ASL season opens, and for the ASL qualifiers, all of those will be aired on my Soup channel and going up on the ArtosisCasts YouTube. So please do follow my Soup channel, and please do follow the ArtosisCasts channel on YouTube. I put a lot of work into that, and I know a lot of you watch it already and enjoy it, and I hope that you do continue to do so. All right, so taking a look here, it looks like just a regular Forge Fast expansion going up for Snow. And he did send the double probe out. So, like, this is a situation where if Jaedong had gone hatchery first, Snow would have some real potential to do a cannon rush. By the way, I've mentioned this in the past, but I find it interesting. The best maps for cannon rushes are always space tile set. And I don't know exactly why that is. Is it because everything's squared off a little bit more? I honestly don't know. Does it just happen to be that way? Do the map makers stylistically like more clean edges on the space maps because they're, like, you know, man-made? Maybe that's just a stylistic thing from the map makers. But, like, for instance, you almost never see people try to do cannon rushes on, like, jungle maps or Badlands maps, which generally have more jagged edges everywhere. So I think it might just be a stylistic thing and not necessarily because of the tile set. Just more of, like, that's how map makers make the maps. I don't know 100%, but that's just something to point out there. Either way, Jaedong has taken the hatchery down at 6 o'clock, you know, as his... We're going to turn that volume up quite a bit. As his first base, because the probe was here already. And yeah, it looks like we're going to have over on Snow's side, he's just expanding, of course, getting that defensive photon cannon. And I mean, a pretty standard openers overall, right? Nothing too crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. And we got to wait a little bit to see how this will shape up. Just a quick layer there from Jaedong, not a big surprise. You know, Knockout has that little divot where it makes 3-hatch Hydralisk rushes a lot harder to pull off against Protoss. And in fact, you know, it also makes busting a Nexus first as Terran harder. It makes busting a fast bunker down there as Protoss harder. It doesn't really affect Protoss for Zerg. Honestly, I don't feel it. There's very fringe circumstances where it can affect Bio trying to break a Zerg sunken line, like if they're going crazy Zerg or something like that. It could affect that, but that's like a very rare outlier. But overall, it's kind of an interesting concept. We've seen it getting mixed into more maps, and we might see some more of these divot-looking maps in the upcoming seasons as well. I've seen some of those new maps. I did do a little review over on the Artosis TV YouTube channel of the upcoming ASL maps for Season 22, or at least what they're thinking about so far. Okay, so the probe finally gets caught there by Jaedong. It gets taken out. You know, you don't know for sure yet whether it's a 3-hatch Hydra. He never did get to go up and see Jaedong's lair morphing or anything like that. So that's going to be a little bit nervous for Snow, but I don't think he's too worried. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything like that. Snow adds the second gateway at the natural, which is very common. It's just like an anti-Mutalisk precaution. If mutas start to break your main base, for instance, you have 2 gateways down there so that you could make 2 High Templars and get an Archon out without them having to travel a long distance and get picked off by mutas. And then, yeah, looking up at Snow's base, he already had the Citadel on the way. He already has a Corsair making. So the well, I guess not. The Stargate has finished. There it is. Okay, he did already have it making. It is going to fly across the map and try to check out what's going on and find out that, okay, this is a Spire opener. Will Jaedong go mutas? That's another question. We just don't know that yet. There's a lot of tricky shielding of whether or not you're going to go mutas. Like it used to be, if you saw Senkin Gas at a certain time, it always meant mutas. That's just not the case anymore. Hydralisk Den actually coming up relatively quickly there at the 3rd base. So just something to note. This looks like It looks to me like what we're going to see from Jaedong is very likely going to be like 4 Scourge pushing back the Corsairs into a mass Hydra attack, probably trying to hit right before Psystorm is ready. That's what it looks like, but I can't say for 100%, right? Ooh, ooh. Oh, that was a sick juke by Snow. That was an insane juke. Jaedong, I think he could have microed to kill that if he was super on top of it right there, but it would have been, he'd have to react very, very quickly to that juke. Scourge have a really hard time when you take sharp turns on kind of continuing to follow. You can, if the Scourge are not microed, you can kind of get away from them a little bit, even if they, you know, they technically can catch these units. So very nice control there by Snow. He gets that Corsair back home, which is incredibly important. The Hydralisk Den has not been scouted as of yet, but with a speed upgrade done here and a speed zealot going down towards that 6 o'clock base, we should see Snow scout that Hydralisk Den pretty quickly. Speedlings coming down to try to block this zealot. Jaedong really on top of things right now. This is the type of move that can make the difference in a game. Now, 2 Zealots go into the natural as all those Speedlings chase the other one. So he blocks view of the Hydralisk Den, but not of those early Hydralisks. Now, this is very quick Hydralisk production, not like a 3-hatch Hydra bust, but it's very quick. It's like before you have the 6 hatches, right? A lot of the time when you go Spire first, you'll end up macroing up to about 6 hatches before making a lot of Hydras. Here, it was like, no, we start the Hydralisk Den on 3 hatches. The 4th hatch is on the way. Now a 5th hatch has been started, but he's already got a lot. Now, a DT coming out, but Overlord speed is already done for Jaedong. More gateways coming up. The DT doesn't look like it's going to be able to slow anything down. The Zealots are going to come to the bridge to try to slow this while the additional Photon Cannons warp in. There's only 5 right now, and they are going to be finished before the attack comes, which is really important. The Zealots are going to have to come out really quickly as well, because that is a lot of Hydroling coming in from Jaedong. He goes forward, tries to break everything down here, gets one of the cannons, but the Zealots are doing a pretty darn good job, if I could say so. The probes came out to block everything as well. Jaedong trying to, ooh, I got chills. Trying to get that Dark Templar, and he does. That was an excellent block by Snow. And the Corsair actually gets aggroed into the Overlord. It was just in range and pulled those forward. So that's a little bit annoying there for Snow. It looks like the Pylon and Gateway are both going to be picked off very quickly from these Hydras. And yeah, the Forge, I don't know if, okay, it looks like he does have his +1. Oh, he started a second upgrade. Okay, so it looks like Snow doesn't think he's going to lose that Forge. I don't know if that's actually the case, so I think he is likely to lose it. A Storm goes down and pushes those Hydralisks back. Jaedong right now on 5 hatchery production. And yeah, looks like Snow is stabilized. Snow is stabilized here for the most part. Very good to see. Corsair going to fly through and see what exactly is being made back at home. Don't forget, like, you could have a switch back into mutas, and okay, so that died just before the muta was hatching, or it was just starting to come out of the egg. But the thing is, vision lingers, so he knows that mutas are being made right now. If he looked at all, he would have seen that muta pop out exactly. Like, when a unit dies, there is a lingering vision, and that actually has a variable for how long that lasts as well. So if he glanced down, generally you're going to know what is on the way here. Already 2 Photon Cannons and a Corsair awaiting him up in the main base. Jaedong having to turn around 2 Dragoons there as well. The High Templars, it looks like that High Templar comes forward. I think he's trying to hit a Storm here as they fly by, but nope. Actually, he didn't have enough energy, so I don't know. That might have been just a misclick or a misrally or something as well. Hiding in plain sight, I don't know. A weird place for the High Templar, though. And the Muta's going to come back from Jaedong and go after this Photon Cannon immediately. He's flying right over the probes, so if you Storm here, you're going to lose a lot of probes as well. Yeah, a few probes die there. The Storm helping to kill some as well, but you do need to push back those Mutalisks. Okay, so far, Snow has been blocking what Jaedong's been doing, but I feel like Jaedong playing this very aggressive stance is slightly outplaying Snow. Like, it felt to me like his Mutas did fine. The Hydralisk Rush didn't do what he was looking for. He was looking for a quick kill, but it wasn't like he was completely all in there either. And now Snow is starting to mass up a good amount of army. So will Jaedong, with those later hatcheries, those early army units, be able to macro up into a good enough defensive position to stop Snow? And my answer to that is I think he is going to be able to. I think his aggression has put Snow on the back foot a little bit, and he should have a window here where he can get his defense going. Now, is that going to be a Mutalisk-based defense where he picks off High Templars, or is he going to be getting into Lurkers? We just don't know yet. But that's kind of the important question we're looking at. If you look at the 4th base location Jaedong is taking on that high ground, see, Lurker Eggs. That is a perfect location for defending with Lurkers, but Snow might hit right before any Lurkers ready. Okay, the Lurkers are popping right this second. He dives with these Mutalisks. 2 Psystorms get used. 1 High Templar goes down. 2 High Templar go down. The other one does not have a Storm right now. I have chills right now, though, because Snow is still pushing up so fast, and I don't see an Observer. And there's no Storms left. So the Lurkers are going to be impenetrable. Now, Snow is going to run away from these Lurkers and rotate down here, but look at that wall. You'd have to run around the other way, and there's already a Lurker there as well. Jaedong is just playing this game to perfection. Like, his attacks haven't worked yet, but he's got everything sharply timed out. This is amazing to see, but Snow has so many units. Snow knows exactly what he's doing. He's rotating around. He knows that Jaedong is very light on everything. Look at Jaedong spread these Lurkers. He knows that Psystorm is going to be able to pick some of these off, so he's trying very hard to spread them so that they will not have 2 Lurkers under 1 Psystorm. Now, the Dragoon's coming in, trying to target everything down. Snow getting into this natural, and he is killing a lot of units. But don't forget, Snow is losing all of his long-term units here as well. If Jaedong can stabilize from here, he will win the game. Snow has to lean on him right now and get more damage done. This is not enough damage to finish Jaedong. Again, Snow is playing well also. I just feel like watching this game that Jaedong is a bit sharper here today so far. Nice move down here with the Zealots, but a Lurker Morph saves that 1 Hydralisk. The 2 Zealots going to back up. Snow is actually taking his 3rd base on that high ground. That's a pretty common move from Snow. Normally what Snow does is he takes that 3rd, and then he'll take the 12 o'clock base. Any map that has a 3rd base that's a mineral base, Snow will take that and kind of use that as a a leapfrog of sorts into the gas base, right? So that's going to kind of, those extra minerals will help him just keep up his production, get the cannons, get the Nexus, all those things. So expect Snow to pretty quickly take 12, because he is going to need the additional gas. He's lost a lot of High Templars this game. He's lost a lot of, a lot of Dragoons. His Corsairs have all died. There's some rough things going on. Now, the Corsair comes down and does a little scout. That shuttle that he brought down, I believe that was probably a High Templar, maybe a Dark Templar. Yeah, a Dark Templar in there as well. It's not uncommon to see something like High Templar, Dark Templar, or Zealot, or something like that, where you try to just hit a bunch of mineral lines all at once, let the Zealots tank. But the DT gets out and actually goes to this 4th base. I don't think Jaedong has noticed yet. Wow, the DT getting quite a few drones there. Dude, this is an excellent, excellent first game of the day here for the wildcard match. Now, the Corsair eats those Scourge, which is totally fine by Snow. He just needs to keep this shuttle alive. Sees some other Scourge and backs up. Jaedong seems to not have noticed the shuttle. And so Snow actually turns around with the shuttle and goes in, drops a DT out, and there's the High Templar I was talking about as well. That was a sick storm! Oh my god! And he will end up losing the shuttle, but a DT sneaks into the main base. Let's see if this DT can get many kills. It doesn't look like it. There is an Overlord in here, more chasing in, as well as those Hydras. So yeah, that DT is going to get picked off, but still an effective drop. A huge amount of units coming out. I think Jaedong has to stay in a very defensive stance. Now, he's moved out into the middle instead of utilizing high ground, which probably makes sense, because if he was only in this high ground area right now, oh my god, a DT comes back for more kills. But if he was only on that high ground area, Snow might be able to rotate to the right side of the map and hit the 6 o'clock base. So I do like what I'm seeing here from Jaedong taking the more forward position. The DT now with 12 drone kills. 12 drone kills is pretty insane. Snow is playing a magnificent game right now, considering how well Jaedong did against him in those initial attacks. Now, here comes Snow. He did rotate around this side still, but that more forward army is one that can really respond to this. Now, as the High Templars come down, these Hydras are going to have a very hard time. Okay, 1 Storm goes off on those Hydras. More coming in from the other side. Ooh, the Lurker's walking through a storm here. This is a really juicy moment for Snow. But here's the thing. If Snow loses this army, I think Jaedong will be able to take this game really quickly from there. These are a lot of high valuable units. He needs to keep them alive. He can't try to kill that hatchery. There's no way it's going to happen. I don't even know if he's going to get this army home now. Look at the amount of Hydras that Jaedong has brought into play over here. He's going to bring these down. He's actually attacking uphill, going to micro towards the Dragoons so he can stop missing shots. And the Dragoons are just getting absolutely pummeled. I think that this was an overcommitment. And again, a big reason why this was able to work defensively for Jaedong, I think, is because he did have that more forward position defensively where he could come around and flank. If he was up on that high ground, he would have gone the other way, and Snow would be able to escape very, very easily at that point. So this was fantastically done by Jaedong. Jaedong looks really, really, really dialed in right now. But Snow is relentless. Like, look at this. Another gigantic attack coming down. Jaedong is on the back foot here, right? Like, he's kind of out of position for this, but he's got enough units. I think he's going to be completely fine still. In fact, we might be seeing a GG come up relatively soon. Snow just started his 4th base up at 12. He kind of took that a bit later than I was expecting him to. I think because he felt like he had to keep this pressure on. And he actually got a lot of drones once again. And in fact, 2 High Templars coming in here. Looks like he will kill some more drones. And tries to morph that Archon, but gets 10 more drones, which is really nice. He's keeping the supply really low for Jaedong. You know what? Maybe there's still chances here. I love the egg morph to block those Zealots from running up so he doesn't have to deal with that. Jaedong is going to be able to clear these. Did Snow actually kill enough drones? He actually might have. The amount of drones he's killed this game is pretty absurd. Like, I've been really impressed by both sides. Although, as I've said a couple times, it feels to me like Jaedong has been outplaying Snow just a little bit here. Snow has lost so many of his big armies. When things like that happen to you, that can happen in some of these matchups. That's something that happens as well in Terran vs. Protoss, where, like, if you lose too many tanks, it's like, okay, you just have to be attacking everywhere all the time to try to come back. Here in PvZ, the same type of thing. It's like, you lost a lot of High Templars and Dragoons. You're not going to grind this out. You're going to have to make sharp attacks all over the place and try to whittle him down. So we're going to see if he's done enough as Jaedong finally is going to pull the trigger on a counterattack. He's only had the 1 attack early on with the Hydras and some Mutilates harassment. Other than that, he's been on the defense this entire game. So he pushes up and decides not to go all the way. He's redroning at home. He kept this pressure on while redroning. Pulls back with that Lurker Hydra force. Now here's the question. Does Jaedong try to keep some sort of containment up there, or does he pull home? It looks like Jaedong has decided to pull home if you take a look at the mini-map. All right, so Jaedong here. Yeah, he has kind of pulled everything back. I don't think he's gone Hive yet. I know we showed that a moment ago and it was Lair. Sometimes I space out a little bit thinking about what should be happening next, so I don't know if they showed it again, but I don't believe Jaedong has gone into Hive yet, which is kind of interesting, right? This game has been hyper aggressive from Snow. So it makes sense in a way, even though I've seen recently, and if you watch a lot of ArtosisCasts, you as well have seen recently, there's been a lot of quicker hives lately in Zerg vs. Protoss. A lot of the top pros have been testing out faster hive builds, trying to utilize those a little bit more, trying to utilize a heavier Zergling Lurker type composition as opposed to the heavy Hydra. But this Jaedong, it's a little bit more old school the way that he's playing this. Just a very sharp way. Well, old school isn't the right word truly. It's more meta standard than some of these quicker hive builds that we've been seeing the pros practice in the last couple months. Now, Snow is coming out with this next army. I'm a little bit nervous for him. His minerals are gone in his main. His minerals are gone in his natural. His gas is gone in his main. His gas should be just about gone in his natural, right? So he's going to have about 1.5 gas here in a moment. So losing High Templars, they're just not going to be able to be refilled. And there, see, he's going to lose 2 there. It's like, okay, yes, you're going to get this hatchery. That's great. But losing those 2 High Templars, in some ways, I'm like, is that worth it to kill that hatch? I'm nervous for him right now. Well, that being said, look at this switch. He's going to try to hit 6, but there's enough mutas to potentially pick off the High Templars. If he can pick off these High Templars, like, the Hydras should be able to clean everything else. Now, Jaedong is doing a little counterattack, but there's storms and cannons here, so not sure that that's going to work. Picks off a High Templar, picks off a High Templar, picks off a High Templar. That was a great storm from Snow. 2 great storms. So he actually kills almost every muta. But the High Templars are gone. So if Jaedong just brings all of his Hydra Lurker down, he will be able to probably kill these Dragoons, but this is the worst possible position you could ever come up with. Attacking into his own wall there is no good. Now, this flank, this is what you want to see. That the Dragoons can still beat that Hydralist force, but you bring a few more up and it could switch. Jaedong, yeah, he's fighting with such a small amount of Hydras. I will tell you what. I think Jaedong was putting out a really strong game here, but look at what Snow has done. Again, chills. If this shows us the level of game we're going to get in ASL Season 22, we are in for a damn treat. Because this game was outstanding. An outstanding game. And, well, I'm saying was, like, past tense, but, like, honestly, look at the supplies right now. 126 to 83. And Jaedong doesn't have Hive Tech. Like, if he had Hive Tech, I'm like, oh, you know what? Defiler Grind, this, that, the other thing. But Snow right now, like, he's getting ready to expand to the top right. I believe that he has a Pylon, a Probe, and, like, another unit up there, maybe. He's continuing to keep heavy pressure on. This is the type of play we need to see out of Snow if he wants to win in ASL. Like, this guy mostly just loses to Zerg players. But playing a game this strong against Jaedong is pretty damn impressive. GG. Yeah, okay, we're going to take a look at the replay ourselves. So, I'm not sure why they're showing right here. I don't feel like this was the most necessarily important part. Well, it's hard to show the part that was really important. This part here where Snow defends that base, like if he had lost 12 o'clock, then Jaedong probably still wins, right? But holding that was really important, and Jaedong lost this base and took a lot of damage because he sent so many Hydras up here. But it looks like, yeah, the Hydra actually got split a little bit. So he, like, attacked with one group, it got stormed to death, and then the other group came in instead of everything hitting at once. So obviously that was problematic as well. But I feel like it was Snow just constantly killing drones that really ended up doing it. So anyways, we're going to go into game number 2, I think. Not exactly sure. We don't always have wildcard matches, and sometimes they change how they do it, but it looks like we're getting ready here, guys, to go into game number 2. And it's going to be on. Really do appreciate how Jaedong played that as well. I feel like he was really playing at a masterful level, and it didn't end up working out, but, like, damn, that was a good game. I think he wins that game against almost everyone in the world. All right, here we go. Polestar. In the bottom right, our Protoss, it's Snow. And in the top left, our Zerg player, it is Jaedong. Okay. So, big audience there today. Everyone's very excited that ASL is back, to be here watching the ASL. If you ever do go to Korea, you should definitely try to line it up with, like, an ASL day or really any esport that you can. It's so much fun. First time in person. Very nice. 16-year fan. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in and enjoying the ASL. Thank you for checking out my soup channel and ArtosisCasts. Really do appreciate you guys. Please do make sure to subscribe to the channel. It really, really does help. Liking the video, leaving a comment, all these things are fantastic and help me to grow, help StarCraft to grow. And that's really, I mean, I feel like that's almost my mission in life. I guess it has been for a long time. Like, StarCraft has been the focal point of my life since the year 2000, I would say. Right around there. That's a long time. We're in 2026. Yeah, that's a long time. And the funny thing is, it's still going strong. It's honestly better than ever. There's great tournaments. We live in a day and age where you don't need other companies and stuff to prop you up necessarily, right? Like, all these pro gamers, they don't make their living off of ASL. They make their living off of streaming. It's not really tournament winnings, you know? It's like the same few people win all the tournaments, but like, if you're a strong player, like you're doing streaming and you're doing YouTube videos and things like that. And that's something that allows me to do it all as well, right? Like, I lived in Korea for 14 years, casting professionally on TV. But of course, you guys who have supported ASL have allowed Tasteless and I to continue it afterwards. Between ArtosisCasts and my stream, I have my Twitch stream on twitch.tv/Artosis. I have the clean feed YouTube stream on youtube.com/ArtosisTV. And yeah, because of you guys, this can just continue to be so many people's livelihood. So thank you so much for checking it out, and do appreciate it. All right, taking a look here. Very fast Nexus. Getting the cannon up in plenty of time. Gateway is warping in. Jaedong here with the 3 bases. It is cross spawn. It'll be a little bit interesting to see how Jaedong wants to go forward from here. Is he going to try some sort of Hydralisk pressure once again? Because the thing is, like, that Hydralisk pressure he did, he almost got it to work. Okay? So if you remember that last game, think about this, right? And this was Nexus first, by the way, for anyone being like, whoa, say it's Nexus first. Yeah, I know. I was talking about other stuff. The last game, so the Speed Zealot from Snow went around the side to check the third because he was trying to figure out what's going on. And that was where the Hydralisk Den was. And Jaedong brought a bunch of Speedlings over and stopped that Zealot. But 2 other Speed Zealots went into the natural and saw the Hydras, which allowed Snow to get the cannons up in time. Jaedong's build was kind of formulated, and this is going to be 3-hatch Hydra, by the way. It was kind of formulated to hopefully catch Snow off guard with a low cannon count and hitting him before Storm. And he was pretty close to doing it, but Snow just barely got that scout off. So really kudos to Snow on that and being able to hold on. But here Jaedong is going to go more aggressively. Now, this is a cross-spawn 3-hatch Hydra. So it is going to make it a little bit harder, right? It's a bit longer travel distance, but that also makes it less predictable. Okay, when it's cross-spawn, generally you throw out builds like this. Cross-spawn can be like 10 seconds further travel distance. Like, that is a huge difference. It matters, of course, like what unit we're talking about and all that, but it really does slow down rushes. That's why, you hear things like, oh, cross-spawn Nexus first and all that. It's like, oh, it's so hard to play against. Cross-spawn 3-hatch Hydra is going to be hard to pull off. Now, the probe actually just saw the Hydralisk Den. So now there's a big question. Does Jaedong continue with that, or does he just go into a macro game? Like, when your Hydralisk Den gets scouted, but you kill the probe instantly, you could just make a big round of drones. You could go into layer. Or you could just continue onwards with the rush. Now, 3 additional cannons are coming up, so I do not think that Jaedong is going to be able to do anything here. His Zerglings see this. He's made some Hydras, which I think is important. If you just go directly into drones, Snow is going to find that out with the Corsair. You can see the Corsair, the way it's flying around. It's trying to check for Hydras. And he's going to show him some Hydras. But I'll bet you it's drone rounds right now. These Hydras are basically to show off that he is, in fact, making Hydras, right? Like, yeah, please make your cannons. Don't go gateways yet. And that already looks like more drones than you're supposed to have at the natural there. So we'll see about this in a second. Oh, that got unpowered because he killed the pylon. Did he purposefully kill that pylon? He might have to let the zealots out. I actually wasn't paying super close attention to that. But I think that might be the case. Okay, the Corsair is still flying around. Yeah, so that's 8. That's already more than you would normally have there. Yeah, normally you'd have 3 there. So it's pretty clear that's just droning going on. Cancels that out. Okay, I think the pylon he killed also maybe unpowered that forge. I'm actually a little bit confused. I think his SimCity was screwing with the zealots getting out, but it might have been that he was trying to target the egg and he accidentally targeted the pylon. That could be. Like, that's not something that would be super common to see. So now he's lost the forge and the gateway. Okay, that has been repowered, so that's good at least. Doesn't look like the greatest opening for Snow. It feels like Jaedong is a little bit cleaner here. Killing that wall and everything. And he droned up pretty quickly afterwards. Definitely liking Jaedong's position here better than the early portion of the previous game, even though I think Jaedong was executing everything well in the previous game. You know, obviously when Snow was able to stop that first Hydralisk rush, that was pretty impactful. Here, like, technically he stopped it, but he bought a bunch of cannons, ended up canceling stuff. He's lost 3 buildings. Hasn't gotten any real counter damage. I believe that's the first Overlord he got. Sending his speed zealots across the map. Not sure that anything's going to happen from that as the Hydras run up. So... yeah, nothing able to... Snow not able to do anything right now, basically. Right? Like, Jaedong is zoning the defense very, very well. The Corsair's still flying through and trying to get a read on everything. See the Spire coming up kind of late as far as the Spire goes, so he's not going to be too afraid of that right now. You know, the 6th hatch is coming up, which is very important. He's going to actually spot this drone, so know that a 4th base is coming. But the one thing we haven't mentioned yet is that at 3 o'clock, Snow is setting up a 3rd base. And it's, you know, on Polestar, all the bases have gas. So I don't need to say that's, it's a gas base. But just for reference, it's very different from the previous game. A mineral-only base and a gas base are completely different for this matchup for Protoss. Okay? Each race is gated by a certain resource in each matchup, okay? Zerg is gated by gas against Terran and minerals against Protoss. Protoss is gated by minerals against Terran and gas against Zerg. And Terran is gated by minerals most of the time in all the matchups. So it's like... Terran generally doesn't care about 3rd bases being mineral only. Obviously, gas is better, but like they generally don't care too much. Whereas with Protoss in this matchup, it makes a huge difference whether that 3rd base has a gas or not, because you really are looking to get more High Templars out. Like that's the important thing, right? Like how many High Templars can you get? Can you continue your upgrades? Can you support your Dragoons? That type of thing. Now, Jaedong bringing a lot of Overlords across the map. I don't think he's getting ready for a drop or anything, but he could be. If you look at the expanding pattern, that Snow has done here in a vertical line, when someone expands vertically like that instead of into like a triangle where he could have done in that pocket base, it does make things like drops a little bit stronger. Because, for instance, if you feign pressure up here at 3 o'clock, but then have a drop ready to go in the main base, that's a very long travel distance. And they might not know whether it's feign pressure. Maybe it's not feign pressure. Maybe you feign the drop into the main base, the units start to go back, and then you hit the 3rd base, right? So, like, there's a lot of ways that you can do it. I don't think Jaedong's going drop here, especially by the speed of that hive. I don't think he had time to finish drop or anything, but he might want to fake it or something like that as well. Now, a little group of Hydras here gets stormed and pushed back. You can see Snow staying close to the cannons. I like that he has a High Templar up here that's going to have 2 storms as well as a group of Zealots. That high ground advantage is going to make it very hard for the Hydras to attack up into 3 o'clock. So Jaedong, you know, he's posturing outside these bases, but I don't see anything he can do. The hive makes a lot more sense in this game, right? The last game was like heavy aggression, both sides pushing in nonstop. Well, I guess Jaedong was on the defense. First he was on offense pushing in, and then Snow was pushing in, and then Snow was pushing in, Snow was pushing in, and double push, and that game basically ended, right? But this game is just completely different. You know, there was the early push, and other than that, it's been mostly the armies walking back and forth zoning, while both sides kind of greeting. Jaedong is now on 4 base, 4 gas, and he's got all 4 gases, by the way, which is pretty wild. We'll see what he's going to spend all that gas on. He can go really heavy lurkers and defilers and all the upgrades. Snow, on the other hand, here with 3 bases very, very quickly. Like, he literally had his 3rd base going up on 5 gates. That's like basically the second fastest. That's the fastest you ever see it normally. Occasionally, you'll see Mini do something insane where it's like 3 gates, 3rd base. But that's so rare, and only Mini does stuff like that. But like, 6 gates is normally the fastest you take a 3rd, and Snow took it even faster than that. So this is a very fast 3rd. He's going to have a lot of High Templars, a lot of great upgrades. Snow taking a 4th base. Chills again. Oh my god. This is such a great game. So Snow, like, the way that he's playing this, he is on the edge right now of what you can get away with. And look at the zoning plays he's doing. Do you see how he's going back and forth here in the center of the map? He's just going to try to milk Psystorm here a little bit, right? Get some decent Psystorms, move the army back and forth. He can't let a full-fledged attack hit anywhere. Jaedong, right now, his army is stronger, but Psystorm can make the difference, right? When you see the Zerg supply really close to the supply of Terran or Protoss, it's almost always that Zerg has a stronger army. Don't forget, Zerglings are half of a supply, Hydras are 1 supply, and every Protoss unit is 2 supply or more. Yes, not the Observer Probe. I know, you're very smart. But when you see the supplies catch up like that, it's like, oh, damn, Zerg's really good right now. Like, really, really strong. Now, Jaedong is taking a 5th base in the top right, and that's obviously very important. He needs to get another base up since Snow is taking his own 4th. Woo. Crazy game. Defilers are out. This is going to make things a lot harder. Snow is going to start attacking in here a little bit. I think that this is appropriate, that he needs to try to get in here and get value from his Dragoons. Where is the Observer? Dude, he's eating so many shots on the left side. It's actually kind of crazy. But there's the Dark Storms, right? So this is going to make the game even harder. Plague is going to be coming up next. That was 6. That was insane. You know, this is going to be even harder now for Snow to deal with, because Defiler's counter, like, already Zergling Lurker is very good against Protoss, but when you add in Dark Swarm and then Plague, the Dragoons have a really hard time here. They already do poorly. If it's just upgraded Adrenal Zerglings, they're already going to have a hard time. But, like, they literally do nothing against Darkstorm. Nothing at all. They just stand there like idiots shooting. You can still move around with them and do things with them. It's a lot harder to take the correct engagement. That was a great snipe with those Zerglings. That's something you'll see increasingly once the Adrenal upgrade is done in the late game. Generally, it's not Mutas that'll snipe High Templars anymore. It's little groups of Zerglings that are almost free for Zerg. Both sides getting closer to max. Snow trying to attack towards top right. Jaedong comes down with a pretty heavy army, throws down the Darkstorm, so you are going to have to pull back. But this has to do a lot with position. Like, the way that Snow is taking that very far forward, he still has room to maneuver on the right side here. Now, the Plague grinding has begun. That's the first Plague of the game, and this is really important. Like, you can, as Zerg, Plague doesn't get healed for Protoss. It doesn't kill the shields, sure, but everything does full damage against shields. Plasma shield upgrades cost more. Like, they're less likely to have heavy plasma shield upgrades. It's rough. You know, you Plague these goons and suddenly they have between 1 and 3 health total. The armor upgrades are basically not going to make any difference. They don't have plasma shield upgrades, so they're going to just pop so quickly. So just continually plaguing the Zerg army, I mean the Protoss army, is an incredibly powerful thing. In fact, it happens, you know, in Terran vs. Zerg as well. You Plague grinding, definitely a thing. Oh god, 4 High Templars in here getting caught immediately. Kind of an expensive drop. It's not the end of the world for Snow because he has a lot anyways. Oh, is this going to open up, attacking up that ramp? That would be insane. He doesn't do it. I think he actually maybe could have. Maybe. I know there's a defiler up there somewhere, but Snow decides to turn and try to fight up here, but this is uphill against a massive spread lurkers. 2/2 upgrades looking fantastic. Another plague comes down, another plague comes down. The defiler's just going to run away. This is really refreshing to see from Jaedong, by the way. One thing that he actually, you know, I mentioned at the beginning of the cast today that he's very weak against light and light's style. The other thing that Jaedong's weak against Terran is plague grind. He's very bad at plague grind. Like, that is not his style. He's a much more active Zerg player. But to see him plague grind here pretty well against Protoss is good to see, because that's like a skill that he actually needs for his Zerg versus Terran as well. Now, Jaedong is attacking down. This is a rather small army, but it does have a lot of High Templars in it. And some very good storms definitely go down. Jaedong should be able to eliminate most of this. It looks like, well, the storm on those lurkers really did help, and Snow actually gets away with a good chunk of it. Ooh, Reaver's being added in now. Snow's secret weapon. You know, Flash said that he thought that part of the reason why Snow has a hard time in this matchup is because so much of his strength is based off the Reaver, and the Reaver is just not as good in this matchup. It's a fantastic unit still, but in Protoss vs. Protoss and Protoss vs. Terran, you can rush to Reaver and basically control the game until late game with Reavers. Like, really, you control it until, like, really high supplies with just that unit. That's not the case in this matchup. But it's good to see that out anyways, because Snow is, again, the best Reaver user ever by miles and miles and miles. Last guy known for great Reaver usage was Into the Rainbow. I mean, there's some other people too, you know. PJ was known for being really great. Legionnaire, known for being really great with Reavers as well. But really, Snow is just miles above. Okay, so the Darkstorm pushes are coming, but between the Psystorm, Photon Cannons, and Roaming Army here, it looks like Snow is still fine. Good Storm there on the Zerglings, like really well aimed to not hit his Zealots there. Good to see. Reaver's coming over to help. I like how the Observer keeps checking. He knows Snow is going to get Reaver damage upgrades. Reaver damage upgrade for 200, you get plus 25 damage per Scarab, which is pretty crazy. It's a very good upgrade, but it's one of the more rare upgrades in StarCraft 1. So just throwing that out there. He keeps checking. We'll know. We'll know when he gets it, because this Observer keeps looking. Another attack in from Jaedong. I think Jaedong is at the point where he feels like he is just going to overwhelm. Like, the way you see him attacking in, he's throwing caution to the wind. He's just saying, "No, I have enough. Like, I can chew through the Psystorms." I don't know if that's the case. Between Psystorms and the Reavers that are out here, like, look at Snow going back and forth. He'll eventually have shuttle speed. He'll eventually have plus 25 damage to those Scarabs, right? And that's going to make it really hard. But Plague on the shuttle and Plague on the Reavers is very, very good as well. All right, Dropsy's out here. And you can see just what a great job these Reavers are starting to do here under the Darkstorm. Hydras don't hit under Darkstorm as well, guys. That was very wasteful from Jaedong. But the thing is, right now in the game, it's more about the big moves than the small moves. An attack that was that thwarted in the mid game, okay, you're in trouble. Here in the late game, not as much, right? Jaedong has 6 bases, although one is not mining at the moment. Okay. Okay, so Storm goes down there and does eliminate those defilers pretty quickly. Bottom left hasn't been taken by anyone. I like that there's a group of Zerglings down here, making sure Snow doesn't get that for free. That would be a travesty there for Jaedong if Snow was to be able to get even more bases. I mean, he's on 5 gases right now, although gases are starting to disappear at this point. 4 kills on that. High Templar looks like he has denied a base. I see something over at the top right pocket third, so maybe Jaedong's getting ready to take that base. You can see Snow here wants to take another base here in the bottom left natural, but the Zerglings did deny that. He had to cancel. But with the Reavers there, he should be able to get it up. And you can see now how Snow is zoning the left side of the map with his army. Three, 2, 1 upgrades. Okay, so Snow actually did switch into plasma shields. That's really good to see. He only ended up going for 1 armor. That's an interesting thing, because people were going for like heavy armor upgrades, but I think because this turned into a hive rush, it makes a lot of sense. If Zerg is going hive quickly, plasma is going to be better. If they're staying on Muta Hydra Lurker for a long time, armor is going to be better. So to see Snow differentiate between those two and already have 2 plasma but only 1 armor, because the armor upgrades are basically worthless with Plague, right? They do basically nothing. That's really impressive. That's like a very dialed in Snow as well. Damn, dude. What a couple games between these two. I am literally getting goosebumps all over the place just thinking about the high level that they're both playing here in the wildcard match of ASL Season 22, the very first ASL Season 22 match that we are able to see. God, it's awesome. Yeah, he did plague those 2 Reavers, by the way. They have a lot of kills. I checked for the plus 25, and my eyes just didn't see it. I was looking at something else. Oh, but maybe he has it. I don't know. He will eventually. Snow eliminating these lurkers really quickly. Jaedong just continuing to send. Look at the mini-map. Just the swarms of units being sent across the map. Snow has to play this really cost efficiently from here still. You have to be careful. You cannot let up. You cannot rest on your laurels how well you've gotten to the 23-minute mark at this point. If he loses bottom left, if Snow loses bottom left, I think that is going to be a really critical moment for Jaedong. Good Storm goes down on those Hydras and Lurkers. These Hydras doing absolutely nothing to the Archons under Darkstorm. That's insane. One thing to note, the Lurkers under the Archons under Darkstorm, they do have a ranged attack, but it has Splash. So they can't kill Lurkers under Darkstorm, but they do damage to everything else, but not their full damage, it's their splash damage. Important to have these distinctions, so if you see like an Archon attacking Lurker under Darkstorm, it's doing nothing unless there's other units standing nearby taking splash. Basically, burrowed units under Darkstorm don't take that splash, tank splash, or that splash. They would take Reaver, obviously, spells, fire bats, lurkers, because the entire attack is splash damage. It's complicated. I don't know. I'm gonna shut up now. This game's too exciting to go into the minutia of how splash damage works. Anyways, little solid attack here as Jaedong has taken yet another base. How many bases does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 base Zerg. The greatest Zerg of all time has 8 bases against Snow right now. That's insane. That's crazy. Now, Speed Shuttle coming in, looking for some damage. He wants to get some Storm drops. Scourge following him, though. It is an issue. Ooh, and he gets it. Well, I mean, decent storms on the drones. Hurts the economy a little bit. Jaedong pretty low on money. This is a very well-defended base down here. I love the Reavers being left down there. That's like kind of the most attackable position on the map and the most worthwhile to attack. By the way, Jaedong still has Zerglings in that bottom left main, I believe. I see that little square of blue, but there is a red thing in there. I don't know how the probe got past, but maybe we'll see in a little bit. Now Snow pushing up. Still, I feel like Snow here still needs to do a little bit of roaming. It looks like he actually wants to hit the 9 o'clock base. And there's almost no defense here, so he should be able to wipe it out. At least kill all the drones. But yeah, no, I think he should be able to probably kill it off too. But Jaedong can kill the army that's going to kill it. Like, a Zealot Dragoon army won't get out of here alive. But actually, yeah, I think that's good for Snow. Like, you can see Jaedong's income is not looking fantastic. He lost all the drones at 12. Now he just lost all the drones at 9. Looks like this has finally been cleared up all the way. Another speed shuttle going out. Oh, maybe to help this army? That would be crazy. Is he going to bring Reavers? Oh, that is the most Snow thing ever. The most Snow thing ever. Dude, bringing up the Reavers to just get super, super value here. Are you kidding me? That is sick to see. You would not see that from any other Protoss player. Absolutely none of the other pros would be like Mission Impossible music playing and suddenly fly up there at this point in the game. They'd be making much different looking, larger moves than that. But Snow saves some units, gets real cost efficient over there. His supply is up by about 30 right now. Jaedong continuing to attack down. Jaedong has not redroned 12. His first 3 bases are empty. The top right trio of bases has decent drone counts, as I can tell from the mini-map. But I would love to see him get a few drones up at 12. That's like some very missed income. DT actually hits into that top right natural. Oh my god, is Snow going to 2-0 Jaedong? What a crazy game. What a crazy series between these two. Yeah, I think that Jaedong is actually getting into kind of a tough spot. You can see how this is much more Zergling-centric coming down, but he doesn't have a huge bank of minerals. Like, if he had 2k minerals right now, I'd be like, okay, I understand. Like, he's sending nonstop Zerglings. But this is, like, if he can't stop bottom left, he's dead. And he's sending Zerglings towards bottom right, that just doesn't matter. It's like the rally point, right? Dude, Snow with his Reavers. Hey, you got the plus 25. There you go. There you have it. Snow has his fully upgraded Reavers. They even have their plasma shield upgrades. Amazing. All right, gonna bring this shuttle back with the Reaver. Yeah, it looks like he's got 3 2-2 upgrades, which is pretty amazing. Ended up getting that plus 2 armor. Plus 3 plasma shields cost 400. So, like, that is such a hard one to get. And GG is called. Snow going to advance, eliminating Jaedong. That means that Jaedong has to go through the qualifiers once again. That hasn't been a problem for him. He gets through every single time, so I'm not really worried. Jaedong is absolutely like a top 8-ish player in the world right now. Snow, though, goes into the match for the seed. Obviously, he would be a great seed to have in that next round, but is he favored? I think against Tulbo, he would be favored. I don't think he's going to be playing Tulbo. I think he's going to be playing Hero, and Hero has the most ASL eliminations on Snow out of every player. Jaedong here, as you can see, none too happy. I honestly think he played very, very well today. It's just this is a tough matchup. You know, Snow is always at the end of every tournament. Like, this guy is one of the very best in the world. Woo! Gonna look at the replay real quick. Let's see which part of the game this was. I'm trying to remember what was about to occur here. Had a little flank come down. Yeah, I don't know if this is like a super important moment in the game or not. It doesn't, I don't think it necessarily was. Honestly, this was I think the really important moments were like when Snow was taking his 4th base and zoning really aggressively in the center. I think that was like a very, very important time for him. So, yeah, I guess, oh, yeah. This moment, this was right at, okay, now I understand why they're showing this. This was right after the 12 o'clock elimination. And yeah, then he killed that 9 o'clock base. So that was pretty big. That was pretty important. And, oh, there we go. All right. Yeah, that was a great match. Really, really happy for Snow that he got to go forward. I was actually a little bit nervous that it might be like Hero versus Jaedong. I mean, I guess ZVZ can be fine. And actually between those two, it would be a pretty good match. But I was hoping today that it would just be 3 Protoss for Zerg matches. I really like doing those types of deep dives. And I think it probably will. Now, we shouldn't count out Tulbo all the way. You know, Tulbo is obviously a really strong player these days. I think out of the top 8, obviously he was the weakest player. But yeah, it looks like we're going to go to a quick commercial break, guys. And we'll be right back with Tulbo vs. Hero. Skills are very good. Okay, mechanically, I think he's quite strong. So that's working in his favor. But here's the thing: Hero is so good at Zerg vs Protoss. Basically, no one beats him in that matchup. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see, versus P. Yeah, look at this, 64.4%. That's pretty wildly high. Okay, that's like. That he might be the #1 ranked player in that matchup. I don't know if that's the case. I think Sulky might be slightly ahead of him, but I'm not 100% sure. I guess we'll see. Probably they'll show that chart, but not always. Guys, you're watching the ASL wildcard match where we're figuring out who's going to take that round of 4 seed, and we're going to start off on Octagon. Attitude and Jaedong, the 2 vetoes. No big surprise there. Should be a good one. All right, I'm glad that we have a different starting map as well. And it is time to get into it. All right, here we go. We have Tulbo in the bottom left. And in the top left, we have Hero. Ah, we got Mong here supporting. All right, so pretty sure that's Mong. Isn't that Mong? He looks really like Mong if he's not Mong. Came from San Francisco for the StarCraft and ICML. Well, I don't know what ICML is, but StarCraft's amazing. Very glad to see you in the audience there, my man. And here we go into our second match. It looks like they've only played once before an ASL round of 24 Group C. And, well, that was the last time they played, rather, and they played another time as well. And Hero is up 2-0 over Tulbo. Great to see so many fans still showing up all the time to support StarCraft. It makes me so, so happy. By the way, with Hero, this is a 9 pool, so a little bit on the aggressive side. The way that Tulbo is doing this, it looks like he'll probably go Forge with a second scout towards the top. And by doing that, he should be able to run into the Lings and be okay, is my guess. But, yeah, we'll see about that in a moment. Here comes that second probe, where it should start the Forge and start going. There's the Forge. And there's the Scout. And it doesn't look like Hero's saving a bunch of larvae to try to make like 6 Lings right off the get-go. I think he's just trying to play it kind of like a little bit of a safety precaution. I think Hero probably looks at Tulbo as someone that is absolutely beatable for him as long as he doesn't die to an early cheese, and I would tend to agree with that, although Tulbo has put out some very strong-looking macro PVZs. If I recall correctly, in Group A of the round of 16 in ASL Season 21, didn't he have a really decent game against Soma? Didn't win or anything, but I felt like he played well. I'm also remembering back, he did take out effort in the ASL Open, which was pretty impressive. Yeah, he's had decent matches lately. There was a long period where Tulbo was only winning Protoss vs. Terran games, and nowadays I feel like he's a good match for most Zergs. Just maybe not Hero. I don't know. Again, I don't want to count him out. Everyone's been practicing hard. You know, StarCraft's doing well. So, by the way, he made 2 cannons and then canceled one out to get the Nexus a little bit quicker here. And that was based off of the Zerglings continuing to try to get the probe. If the Zerglings had disappeared, he would have let that cannon finish. But they stayed on top of that probe, so he decided, you know what? Screw it. We'll just get the gateway a bit quicker, get the Nexus a bit quicker, and forget about that secondary cannon for now, at least. Hero's going to send a Zergling out to scout, but keeping most of them home right now. His Overlord is actually doing most of the scouting here. This Zergling is just going to try to find the probe that came out to get some scouting done as well. And yeah, he's going to be able to kind of chase that down. The other Zerglings came up. If the probe tries to turn around and go up the ramp, he'll be able to catch it. And the way it's going, he might want to bring those Zerglings back to the other ramp to try to catch it going up towards the main base. By the way, that's a 4th hatchery before gas from Hero, which is kind of interesting. Seems like a little bit of a greedier play. You generally will see the gas more quickly. That's actually something I really like about Hero's ZVP in general. He has, in my opinion, a more distinct powering phase in Zerg vs. Protoss than anyone else. A lot of times Zergs will do things where they're just kind of like going along this thin line of like, okay, now we're getting Zergling speed and, you know, the layer upgrade, we're droning and adding hatcheries. A lot of times Hero will get what he needs in the early game and then drone like insanely, like really boost his minerals and then get back into the more normal tech variants, right? One of my favorite Zerg vs. Protoss games I ever saw, and by the way, that is a 4-hatch Hydra. That is really interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. But one of my favorite games I ever saw from Hero was a Zerg vs. Terran on Eclipse, where he went Zergling speed to open, took all drones off gas, and went like 5-hatch, and then teched up, and just controlled the map with the Zergling speed, and it was like so cool. It was honestly one of my favorite games, and when I do play ZVP, which is not too often, I try to emulate that. Now, let's talk about this build a little bit, right? So this is not your standard 3-hatch Hydra. No, not by any means. This is 4 hatcheries really, really quick. He's denying scouting really well, and you can see that went down. He got a second gas. So how many drones do we have? 4 there, 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, dude, he has a lot of drones. So okay, so you go 22 drones for a 3-hatch Hydra. It's very mapped out. You go 23 drones if you want to get the 4th hatch a little quicker. This was a quick 4-hatch Hydralisk Den and now layer. So this is not a 4-hatch Hydra rush. That's what I thought we were going to see. He got the Hydralisk Den to block the Corsairs specifically. So this is the anti-air that Hero will be utilizing to keep his Overlords alive. And other than that, Hero is just focusing primarily upon getting very good drone count. The layer is at his 3rd base, which hasn't been scouted yet. And you can see Tulbo adding cannons. So he's a little bit confused as to what's going on. And in fact, hell, maybe it is going to be a Hydralisk attack. He just made a bunch more Hydras. But Tulbo hasn't been able to scout that there's an evolution chamber, nor that there is a layer as of yet. Now, his Corsair is going to go over here and see the layer, and he's going to see an additional hatch and a lot of drones. So, see, he canceled the cannon. That was what I was going to say. Is he going to cancel cannons now? And he does cancel one of the cannons, but keeps the other. I think that that's a good middle ground here for Tulbo. Sometimes it's hard to read exactly how many cannons you need, but that's the difference in levels of Protoss players, right? It's like, how good are you at knowing exactly what you need to block these rushes? But this isn't much of a rush. Like, Hero has picked off the gateway. Okay, nice. Tulbo adds another cannon. His Corsair is keeping decent tabs. That's a pretty decent place to stand. Or to float, I guess. You know, he's just kind of watching for More Hydras cycling out, and that's not really what's happening. There are a few Hydras here and there. Spire gets started over at the third base. I'll say it. I think Tulbo has done a good job, and he cancels another cannon. A lot of canceled buildings as he tries to zero in on exactly what Hero's up to. But I think Tulbo's actually done a pretty good job here. Can't really be negative about this, right? Like, I think he's, like, the way Hero plays is trickier than other players, like I mentioned. His powering phases look really different from other Zergs. But I think Tulbo has felt it out. Like, he got... It feels like about the minimum cannon amount that you could get. Adding on his gateways as quickly as he can. Getting into High Templars. I'm sure his leg upgrade is still going. His +1 is still going. I guarantee you he'll go up to at least 8 gates here. He's not going to try something like a very fast third base off 5 gates like we saw from Snow in one of those Jaedong games. That's not Tulbo's style. Tulbo's style is really big armies moving around. Like I mentioned, he's mechanically quite good. Like, the base of Tulbo's play is very, very strong. All right. Scourge pushing back his Corsair now, finally. One Dark Templar going out and clearing that one Zergling Scout. Right now, 6 gates. I know he's going to add more gates. There's just no way that Tulbo will take a third base on 6 gates. It's just not... That's not Tulbo. I want to see it, though. The probe is waiting there. He's got like 800, 900 minerals. That is a funny thing about Tulbo. Like, I would say the one thing I've noticed the most about him is he's very good at probe production. When I say that mechanically he's good, right? He does sometimes bank up a little bit. Sometimes it feels like his gateways get added a little bit late. I have seen games that have felt like that for sure. Like, you look back to Leda versus Tulbo from Season 21 on Knockout. That was definitely what cost him that game, is he did not add gateways on time. But the guy's probe count is always really, really good, so he actually always has really, really decent money compared to a lot of Protoss players as well. And you'd think there would be no difference in worker production amongst top ASL pros, and there absolutely is. There absolutely is. Do you know what Terran player produces the most SCVs? It's last. How do I know that? It just... it's just the way it is. Even in StarCraft 2, like TY, just more SCVs than everybody. Kind of crazy. Anyways, enough talk about that. Terran players and SCV counts. Have to find a way to talk about Terran a little bit in these matches. Lurkers come down here for Hero. Tulbo hasn't moved out very much yet. Hero's taken a 4th base. Tulbo has been pretty passive, if I could say so. 3rd base in line with where Hero is. So positionally, this is kind of a hard one to take, but it is his close by gas base, which is important. All right, so Tulbo is just kind of sitting. Hero has a lot of supply. I'm sorry. I'm like kind of going quiet for a moment here, but I'm a little confused what Tulbo's game plan is. Okay, gets a couple good storms here. Like, obviously he's trying to take a 3rd base, but I don't see what the actual plan is, because, like, Hero's here on 4 bases. He's moving in. He forces a cancel here easily. He's attacking in 2 locations and winning both of them, which shouldn't be a thing, but in this case, it is absolutely a thing. Now, the Corsairs do get pushed back there. The Zealot hits the 4th base. Yeah, honestly, this game looks kind of close to over right now. Obviously, they both have large armies and everything, so it's not technically over. But when you look at what this position actually is, this is Hero on 4 base, maybe a 5th base coming up. With a light contain, he canceled the 3rd. He killed big parts of Tulbo's army. Tulbo is down in supply and down 2 bases. He's got nothing special going on at all. I guess these Corsairs are doing okay killing some Overlords, but Hero doesn't even really care that much. In fact, Hero has better upgrades, which is not super common. Tulbo tries to take that third base once again. Man, retaking a third base at 12 minutes without moving out even one time is... I don't know how to explain how Tulbo would go about winning this game. It feels like Hero would have to really botch all of his attacks into Psy Storms. Like, really clumped up, not good control. It feels very incredibly bad for Tulbo here. And then he loses his shuttle going across the map. This looks kind of like textbook for Hero. And the thing is, Hero shouldn't attack in, because like I said, the way to potentially lose this game, if we were looking for a way for Hero to lose, it would be to attack really poorly into Mass Psystorm. Whereas if he just keeps expanding and makes a big army and gets a big bank and keeps getting upgrades, Tulbo will never, ever break through everything. It can't happen. Now, Tulbo is bringing a chunk of his army up that ramp. He has so many Dragoons. Holy crap. Well, I guess let's see. Maybe at max supply, he feels like a trillion Dragoons plus some Psy Storms can break out. Maybe. You never really see anyone play it quite like that. This looks like if you put the way Rain plays Protoss vs. Zerg through Google Translate into like... you know, you put it through into Chinese, and then you go from Chinese to Arabic, and from Arabic to Spanish, and from Spanish to Finnish, and you just keep on doing that over and over, and then bring it back to English and see what it says to do. That's what this looks like to me. This is a mass translated version of the way Rain plays. Like, it just doesn't quite look right. You're like, wait, what? What are we doing? Why is there a million Dragoons here and then an army standing over near his rally point? Okay, Tulbo's going to try to attack out. Some good storms. Some really good storms. A lot of the army coming down now. Trying to attack uphill against the Hydras is tough. The storms are going to be the difference maker in that if he is able to break through. Now, the problem I have with this is a huge chunk of Tulbo's army is just like sitting still on hold position near Hero's base. It feels like he should do something with that. And like, does he bring it down to help here? Does he? God, that's so many lurkers. You can't break that with that mostly zealot-based army. Absolutely not. But he hasn't even gotten to his high ground outside of his natural. Hero has that additional base in the top right now. All right, some very good storms go down. But Hero just has so much at this point. Look at the supplies. Still very close to each other. Tulbo actually has brought most of that standing army down once again, so it looks like he will break out of this containment on his side of the map finally. You know, we're 16 minutes in, and he's finally broken out. Still hasn't properly attacked even one time this game. Now, I think that there can be roads to victory where you're not necessarily attacking much. Absolutely. But without putting pressure on a Zerg, you let them drone so much. Like, look at the supply Hero has. This is what happens when you don't pressure. Like, Hero's got the drones to feed his economy. Like, his production is crazy, and there's a reason for that. There's been no pressure. Tulbo comes back, and, you know, he gets a cancel. Like, Hero cancels out the fourth Nexus on that mineral base, that little group of Hydras. Look at the amount of units going to the center of the map here for Hero. Oh. I do think what we're watching here is a complete outclassing. You know, Hero is one of the most accomplished Zergs. As far as players without a championship, he's amongst the top. I think it's really Best, Bisu, Jaedong, and Hero are the 4 players where it's like, yeah, these guys should probably have championships in ASL by now, but do not. And he's playing against someone who got round of 8 one time that, you know, doesn't qualify for every ASL. And we love Tulbo. I love Tulbo too, but this is like, these look like players from different echelons, right? Like these are not, this does not feel like, at least this game, maybe the next one, right? This is a best of 3. Maybe Tulbo was just a little bit off here. He does get nervous in these matches, no question. We saw him get a lot of nerves against Layden in his round of 8 match. And this is for a round of 4, you know. This is a very, you're not going to win ASL here, but getting a round of 4 seed is insane. Really boosts your career. Would be a big, big moment for Tulbo, but Hero's actually taking even another base. Hero's trading well enough in all these situations. Look at this. He's up 20 supply right now. Lots of lurkers being made. I don't see, and I haven't seen a plan implemented at any moment from Tulbo that I understand to be something that could win this game. It's like he's making a lot of units, and that's the plan. I'm going to try to sit back a bit defensively here as Hero starts to attack down into his 3rd base. Some more High Templars coming, which is very important. Plague goes down even before a Dark Swarm. Heavy Hydra Lurker moving around the center. Good storm there on those clumped lurkers for sure. Yeah, very nice. Kind of misses that other one, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. A lot of High Templars. We got to give him that. There are a lot of High Templars out here for Tulbo. Definitely needs to take that other base. You know, the position looks much worse than the mass expanding game from Jaedong versus Snow, which was game 2 on Polestar. And the thing is, I think Hero's probably a bit better than Jaedong at this matchup, and I know that Snow is a lot better than Tulbo at the matchup. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, and the position is worse for Protoss comparatively. So it doesn't, again, it doesn't feel very good here. A lot of plagues coming down. Not utilizing the Dark Swarms. Ah, there we go. Finally one does go down. But now that Archon's invincible, unless you burrow your lurkers. And that one will get popped as well. Hero trying to take the last base before he infringes upon his opponent's side of the map. Yeah, this should be very close to game at this point. Like, moving forward and taking out this base. I guess Tulbo is trying to set up 6, but his army is, like, becoming more Archon Zealot heavy, which isn't going to fare well against mass Lurker Darkstorm, that's for sure. Little group of units coming down towards that 6 o'clock base as well. And GG is coming with as well. But if match point's in there, I think Tulbo will probably choose match point. Match point fits him much better. This type of game can't happen at a match point. There's not enough bases. Yeah, I think, like, you could show any point in this game, I guess. It's all... the thing is, at the end of the day, Tulbo didn't put any pressure on. The way Hero played made it very difficult to put pressure on. Right? He opened up with a 9 pool, and then he went 4 hatch with a Hydralisk Den, and he just macroed up like crazy and made a lot of units, and Tulbo kind of stayed back, never really ventured onto Hero's side of the map. We did not see really even one proper attack this game. He only ventured past the halfway point with more than like 2 units, like 2 times, I would say, in the whole game. So very defensive play there from Tulbo, not doing it against Hero. All right, we are going to get into match point. See, I told you guys. Tulbo likes this map. This is a better map for him. You can't quite play it like we just saw on Hero's side, right? Your max number of bases will be 6 if you keep Protoss completely contained. But even then, if Protoss is on 4 base, Tulbo could still win. A lot of people feel like this is a very good Protoss map. I think everyone feels that way. It is a very good Protoss map. So we'll see if Tulbo is able to make something happen here on match point. Like, even if he does, though, probably we go to Polestar. And that, or potentially knockout. And that would be tough. All right. So in the bottom left there, we have Tulbo, and in the top right, we have Hero. It's interesting. Hero switched his caps. He used to be lowercase H-E-R, uppercase O, and the last several times I've seen him play, he's been capital H-E-R-O. I kind of like the all caps a little bit better, although I'm so used to his other way of capping it. You know, when you make a BattleNet account on Remastered, you're stuck on whatever caps you typed in. On old Brood War, when you went to sign in, you could just type it however you wanted it at that particular moment. So however you felt you wanted it there, you could just do that. I miss that. That was, I liked that. I'd be like, I need a capital O in my name today. I'm just feeling it. Well, let's see what these guys want to end up opening with here in game number 2. I want to take this moment before it really gets going to thank you guys for checking out either my soup channel or ArtosisCasts, whichever one you might be at. Please do subscribe. I really appreciate you, and I hope that you are enjoying the casts. Yeah, you can leave a comment, like the video, that type of thing. It really does help out. Spread the word. ASL is coming up. Like I mentioned previously on my soup channel, ArtosisCasts, will have this wildcard match as well as both of the ASL Open tournaments, as well as the ASL qualifiers. Very excited to get all those up, and I'll get those all up as quickly as I possibly can. In many times they'll be up the next day on my soup, or it matters, I guess, what time they're airing at as well, or on the YouTube directly after that. Although I believe at least one of the qualifier days overlaps with a LAN tournament I'm going to, so that one might be like 2 days after, unfortunately. But I'll be getting that done as soon as I return back home. Living the StarCraft life. But yeah, please spread the word. I know people are always really excited for ASL, and this second season is going to be awesome. Everyone's in such good shape right now. And then, of course, we'll have that little dry period for a while, which is always a little bit sad, but just the way it is. Okay, so right now this probe was just kind of following that drone a little bit. Third base going to be taken by Hero up at that kind of triangle-ish formation. That is very far away. But, like, if he wants to 3-hatch Hydra, it's not that bad or anything. I wouldn't be surprised if Hero pulls a cheese on this map, because, again, Match Point is generally considered a good Protoss map. And if Tulbo sits back really defensively, what is Hero to do? He can't play it like he played that last map. Again, you can only get 6 bases. And, you know, like, Protoss can basically, once they get, like, to max-ish supply, they're going to have 4 base. And I guess, you know, there are some different types of attacks Zerg can do here. Like, drops can be very good here. You know, you have expand vertically in a line as Protoss in this matchup. On this map. So, like, if you have to defend top left and your main base at the bottom from drops, that's really hard to do, right? So just something to keep in mind. Some different tactics that Hero could utilize to try to make the map a bit easier for him later on. It is really the beauty of StarCraft, is how differently these maps demand us to play. How differently you have to think about everything. But with the layer going up for Hero, seems like it's probably just going to be a quick Spire and kind of push everything back. I don't know if he'll end up going Mutalisks or not. I'm trying to think of games where I've seen Tulbo get wrecked by Mutas. I've definitely seen some, but he doesn't stick out to me as someone who's just like particularly weak against Mutalisks either. Whereas maybe someone like Movie, when I was thinking, who is weak against Mutalisks? Movie popped into my mind, but honestly, Movie's just a little bit weak in the matchup regardless, so I don't know if it's specifically Mutas. Not like I cast a ton of his PVZs. Either way, we have these Zealots fighting the Zerglings. Actually, very good micro from Tulbo. Can't really complain about that. Well executed, but enough Zerglings from Hero that he clears that still without too much trouble. The Zergling's going to split off. Not sure if he actually saw the Zealot that's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. The Overlord just barely missed vision of it. Zergling running past. Just a lot of movement in the middle right now as they kind of feel each other out. Corsair is going to come out now and get its scouting done. Zealot trying to be caught here as he runs up to the natural. I feel like Tulbo has already received enough information that he's pretty sure of what's going on. Just kind of a normal macro-esque game with a Spire. Looks pretty obvious from what he's been able to gather so far. Zealot getting slammed here. Ooh, nice pick off. Zealot pressure going up against these drones. Nice drill there. Tulbo trying to get a little bit of damage done. I gotta say, like, already, obviously, we're seeing a lot more pressure than on the previous game. A lot more. And it's going well for him, I think. Right? Like, he gets a drone there. He hasn't gotten a lot. The Zerglings are cleaning everything. But Tulbo's keeping good track of what Hero's up to. He knows the type of tech that's out. He's making sure that it's not too drone heavy. That is a pretty quick Hydralisk den. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to go ahead with a Hydralisk attack, though. It just feels a little bit quicker than I normally see. I actually wonder how Hero wants to play this. I almost feel like he wants to get Lurker quicker this game, but I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll see. Looks like Hydralisk speed is ready. Maybe he does want to do an attack then. If we already have Hydralisk speed right now, maybe he wants to just go up and hit this natural very, very quickly. Tulbo only has one cannon, so that could be an extremely effective attack. Potentially a game-ending attack, in fact. The Zerglings want to keep these Zealots busy. See how he pulls the Hydra's way to the side? Okay, now he's going to show them just to surround and kill this. Tulbo, oh god, Tulbo needs to start cannons right now. He's losing the Corsairs. Well, he lost one. Dude, Tulbo building placement on match point. Name a more iconic duo. This is scary right now. And those are some ugly cannons. You know, those actually might hit units coming up the ramp. I think they might actually. So actually, that might be really good cannons. Maybe I spoke too soon on that one. Now, the Hydras are going to come in. There is a Dark Templar here, but an Overlord came down as well. Oh, he's going to target the DT. Oh, my God. Oh, no, but there's two more. I was like, that was brilliant by Tulbo. Amazing. The Hydras look like they're going to break through. Not looking good right now for our Protoss player. I think he's actually just dead now. So this was just a pre-storm bust timing, basically. Tulbo did not get the info on the Hydralisks hatching. The Hydralisk den, like I mentioned, it was pretty quick. Wasn't sure if this is what he was going to go for. I thought it might actually end up being like a 3-hatch Hydra to just try to end on match point, but like this game is I think pretty close to over. He's got detection. He's trying so hard to kill these overlords off so that his Dark Templars might be able to save him. That is a way that sometimes it occurs, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case here, unfortunately. The DT ends up falling. Many, many probes going down as well, and GG is about to be typed. There it is. GG. And Hero just walks through Tulbo. That was very, 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 very one-sided. You know, Tulbo, he's going to have to go through the qualifiers. I would say out of all the players in the top 8, he's the only one that I'm not sure if he'll get through. The other players, like whoever loses here and Jaedong, I have not even one question in the world that they will get through the qualifiers. Tulbo, like, I think he will. I think he will. He is very good. He's playing against some of the very best players in the world here and getting wiped. Yeah, so that is match number 2 all done. That means that we're going to have Snow against Hero. And just real quick to mention, Snow has been eliminated by Hero 3 or 4 times in ASL, so it's a big deal. Guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, our last match. All right, guys, we are back right now with the final match in this wild card. It's going to be Snow going up against Hero. A match for the ages. This is an amazing one-sided rivalry so far. You know, I was actually kind of shocked to find out how many times Hero has eliminated Snow from ASL. If you want to see what Snow's journey has been, I did release a video that I worked very hard on Artosis TV on YouTube. Detailing who Snow has lost to in ASL. And it has been Hero more times than anybody else. Hero has just been a beast in this matchup, and he's been a bit of a gatekeeper here for Snow. So, you know, that is a little bit of an issue. We'll see if Snow is able to overcome him and get this seed into that round of 16. It's such a nice spot to get into. So we're going to see about that in just a second. It looks like Attitude and Jaedong once again the bans, and set 1 going to Polestar. It looks like we are about ready, guys, and here we go. In the bottom right, our Protoss player, it is Snow. And in the bottom left, none other than Hero. All right, guys, here we go. Very exciting. Now, again, this is the wild card match for Flash's seed in that round of 16. Very, very powerful to be able to control a group in the group selection phase in that round of 16. Wow, really good artist. Oh my gosh. So, you know, obviously something both of them want. They've both had it a lot of times. By the way, look at this. 10-4 in Hero's favor. So really shows you it is a little bit of a one-sided rivalry. Hero has stopped Snow many, many times in the past. We'll see if he's able to now. And this shows your seeds so far. Soma, Leda, and Light. Of course, Flash dropping out due to his poorly performing wrists. Sad to see, but, you know, we'll see if he ever comes back. He says he's not going to, but he also said if his wrist feels better at some point, he will. You know, I think you can see as well, he played no bio games in that finals against Soma. It's clear that his wrist is a big issue. The same thing happened to MVP at the end of his StarCraft 2 career, where he only went mech against Zerg. Playing bio, it's like the most speed-intensive thing that exists in video games, is trying to play like a marine medic type of composition. You have to be so fast at your multitasking. It really, that's like where the injuries happen oftentimes. So anyways, we'll see. It looks like a one-hatch speed opener from Hero. Now, I've spoken so many times about the build that I saw Hero do where he goes 1 hatch speed into like 5 or 6 hatch drone. Now, these lings coming out are starting to go in the wrong direction, but they're going to find this really quick and turn. He's going to want to avoid that probe, though. He's going to go up and around so the probe doesn't see him. Only 1 cannon on the way. Is he going to get there and kill? If he gets the cannon, he wins. That's it. And he's avoided the probes with these lings. Oh, my God. Snow is not going to be too happy about this. Watch Snow's face. That's game. That's game number 1 goes to Hero. Like, you are not going to win from here. Hero would have to mess this up so badly, it's hard to imagine. He's going to have Zergling speed. He's got 8 lings. Yeah, not even going to play it out. Not even going to play it out. Good catch by Hero. All right. Well, we're gonna go into a game number 2. Not sure exactly how that's gonna end up going. I'm hoping against hope that yeah, we can see a powerful macro game, maybe into a game number 3 as well. Now, Snow, a little bit pensive there. Can't be feeling good about that opener. I hope it doesn't just turn into an insane, like, another cheese, like 3 hatch hydrants. Like, oh, we're done, guys. Thanks for watching. Here's the seed. Hopefully it's going to be better than that, at least. Yeah, the lings ran around. There's really nothing to analyze here. It's very, very simple. He went 9 pool speed. He saw the probe. He went around the probe. And he got the cannon. And this can happen. You try to take a greedy, fast expansion like that, sometimes you'll get caught. And that's kind of meta right now. People play really greed and people play really aggressive. There's not a ton of middle ground at the moment. And Snow definitely got caught. So Hero taking that big game 1 victory, probably feeling pretty good here. Did I say Snow? I meant Hero if I did, obviously. All right, we're going to go into match point here for set number 2. So Snow also preferring match point as his next map. We saw Hero in that previous game do kind of a pre-storm bust timing with his Hydras against Tulbo. So let's see. And here we go. We have in the top right, Snow. There he is. And in the bottom left, we have Hero. So this map, it doesn't have that many bases. I think it's going to be one where it's a little bit difficult to win the longer game against Snow. And Snow is already good at the longer game in general. It's getting there that can be a little bit more difficult. That is a funny thing about this map. Like, I feel similar about it in Terran vs. Protoss, even though it's a Protoss favored map. It's like, well, if you get into the late game, it actually feels like it becomes okay as long as there's no carriers, right? In this matchup, it's like, well, if Zerg doesn't have a lurker contain over your 3rd base area, and you get into the late game as Protoss, it's like, oh yeah, that seems very reasonable. Yeah, but well, I guess more than that, it's favored for Protoss in this matchup as well. That seems to be the case, that people like it as Protoss the match point. I guess Hero has the potential to cheese here, and like I mentioned against Tulbo, he also has the potential for maybe doing some sort of drop or something into that main base a little bit later into the game. I've definitely seen a fair amount of drops on this map. I think that's one of the better strategic things you can do, since everything is so far apart if you look at the top left versus the bottom left, or the top right against the bottom right, rather, in Snow's position. Next is first here once again, and he is going to be playing against a pool first, but this is not the craziest pool first that you can get. This was an overpool. So Snow has enough time to get up his defense, but a safe build as well from Hero. But this favors Snow. Probe trying to snap a kill on that drone. I don't think it's going to happen. Oh, maybe, maybe. Oh, dude, he didn't even take damage. That's crazy. I can't believe he got that. That has to be frustrating for Hero. All right, Photon Cannon coming up. Probe following that Zergling. When you're following the Lings like this, by the way, like, look, see how he's going just in front of the Lings and they're auto-pathing behind him? He's slowing these three down. Look at how much further that front one is ahead now. Very good play here from Snow to do that. To stop that, Hero could micro to attack the probe a couple times, but that'll slow them down as well. So, good job by Snow. Photon Cannon finishes before anything gets up. And there is a gateway on the way. Hero takes his third base. It's going to be down at 6 o'clock. So that same type of triangle formation that he utilized against Tulbo. But which follow-up build is he going to use? That's what we're waiting to see. All right, so Hero, yeah, nothing yet. I don't see a layer yet. If he does go layer, it'll probably be at 6. I do want to keep an eye on that. Like, well, we can just kind of watch the gas as well. A little trick while you're observing the game, since we don't get production tabs. Now, yeah, he's actually banking up quite a bit of gas. It feels like Hero wants to maybe go 3-hatch Hydra here. That's kind of my gut feeling of what I'm looking at. But he doesn't want to put anything down in front of Snow. Okay, he actually did start the layer over at that third base. And Snow is probably going to be able to get down there and check that as well. His probe control seems quite nice today. Ooh, never mind. Good catch. In the meantime, Snow clogs up the holes in his wall. Yeah, and I think this is going to be a pretty quiet portion to the game. Neither of them really have anything aggressive going on. Obviously, of course, here will come out soon. And eventually, Snow will try to push out with a couple zealots. But while we kind of wait for that, I want to thank you guys again for checking out my channels. Thank you for checking out ArtosisCasts if you're watching there. Do appreciate you. Please follow the channel. Like the video. It's very much appreciated. The ASL Season Open tournaments as well as ASL qualifiers will both be on ArtosisCasts as well. And then everything will switch over to the Soup English Esports channel for the regular season ASL. Okay, so this is a quick layer. Not a quick layer. We shouldn't even call it a quick layer. Just it's a layer into a reasonably quick Hydralisk den. So it's different from how he played against Tulbo. Against Tulbo, you got a Spire as well, right? Had some Scourge out, and then eventually went into the Hydra attack. This isn't quite that. This is like, it's actually closer in a lot of ways to that 4-hatch game that we saw against Tulbo on their map 1. On the Octagon game, right? It's kind of like, okay, the Hydras are here to push back on the Corsairs and keep his Overlords alive, and there's like a lot of droning going on right now. Some additional gateways coming up here for Snow. I think he's going to have a better time identifying what's going on here than anything we saw from Tulbo. Snow is a very smart player. All right, flies in. That's a really good SimCity. Gonna be hard to break in there with Zealots, that's for sure. Corsairs continuing to keep counts on these Hydras. Sees that the speed upgrade is, of course, done. I think he felt that the range upgrade was probably not done there since no shots went off. More and more drones popping out here for Hero. DT out onto the map for Snow while he gets some High Templars out as well. Haven't seen a Spire yet, by the way. I think eventually Hero is going to throw one down. All right, going up to the full... No, those were pylons. So what is it, 6 gates right now? Snow did favor the 6 gateway expansion there against Jaedong in one of the games, which was cool. Well, I guess it was technically 5 gates. Okay, he does throw down a couple more gates. So 8 gate plus Robo, all the tech, everything he needs. I think it's appropriate considering the amount of Hydralisks he's already seen produced. Still producing some Corsairs as well. This game feels a little bit weirder than some of the games we've looked at today. I'm not completely clear on what Hero's trying to do here. He's made a lot of Hydras. Yes. But it doesn't feel like he has any sort of timing that's lined up. Snow has been very on top of scouting and everything. In fact, Snow moving out with a little bit of a counter zealot pressure. This, in my opinion, I'm looking at this. This looks pretty good for Snow right now. As long as he doesn't throw anything away. Pretty good multitasking. Zealot's going to get on top of this really small group of Hydras. Going to be able to pick off a few Overlords as well. That's really nice. Should pull the DT back, probably. Well, maybe not, I guess. Yeah, look at this. The DT just going to go after drones. Very good micro there from Snow, as always. DT gets targeted down from Hero. Definitely no big surprise there. All right, and gonna just back up. Well, not back up, but run the Zealot to the side. Not gonna engage anymore. Tries to keep it alive, but not gonna work out. Yeah, I honestly am not sure about whatever the plan was for Hero. Maybe he was hoping to catch Snow off guard and it just didn't occur. But Snow, it feels to me like Snow is and has been in charge of this game the entirety of the time. Plenty of High Templars, 8 gates, 9th gate on the way. Lots of larvae just sitting. Is he waiting for a Mutalisk transition? I think so. Yeah, it looks to me like we're going to have, well, a ton of something. Not exactly sure what. I don't think the gas went down enough for it to be pure Muta. He's not making 12 Mutas, that's for sure. Ah, Overlords. Lots and lots and lots of Overlords. Or what? Wait, what? It's 105 of 102. Oh, never mind. The eggs haven't hatched yet. Those Overlords just happened to fly out of there. They looked at me like they went down the eggs. I'm like, what? How could his supply be this low after hatching 8 Overlords? It was like more than he has. Okay, so it looks like Hero might be planning the big drop that I had talked about against Tulbo as well. Corsairs kind of getting it. Oh, yeah, he saw those Overlords as well. So he knows that this is a real possibility. The main bulk of the Protoss army of Snow here is pushing a smaller group of Hydras away from his 3rd base location. Some units going back into the main base. This is the tricky part, though. You can feign attacks, right? Like, you can act like you're going to drop then attack, or act like you're going to attack then drop, or act like both and do neither, right? Like, there's a lot of different ways for this game to play out from here. Okay, I think I just heard an observer die, by the way. So isn't going to have good vision in here. Needs to get some units in to do that. The Corsairs are pushing back those Overlords. In the meantime, in the entirety of the army of Hero is coming back to deal with this. So Snow is not going to kill this base. He's going to lose this entire army. Maybe he gets some value out of these storms because he does have another storm, and that's a sick choke for it. Oh my god. Insane storms. 13 kills, and those are, I think, all Hydras there. Really, really cost efficient for Snow. And the Overlords got pushed way, way back by those Corsairs. The Overlords are all the way back into the natural at this point. And Snow bringing up more units. Yeah, like, I don't know what the plan was here for Hero. Like, again, I've taken a couple guesses as to what it might have been. Like, it might be, like, trying to hit a surprise, that type of thing. But it didn't look like a very focused play. And, like, Snow has just been dominating this entire game. The entire game. GG. And that means we're going to go to a game 3. Another kind of one-sided game. Games with heroes in them. One-sided here today. So, the one-sided games coming out of Hero and Snow so far. I'm going to go into a game 3 and see how that one's going to go. Yeah, well, let's see what map it's going to be first. It's going to be Knockout or Octagon, I would guess. Because we've already done Polestar, Attitude was banned, Jane Doe was banned. We've done Match Point. Yeah, so it should be Octagon or Knockout. And yeah, just kind of going over some of the game again. Some good army movement. You can see, like, Hero here was trying to set up for, like, a couple potential moves, and Snow just kind of blocked everything. It felt like seamlessly. Like, the Overlords got up into a position. Was this going to be real? Was this going to be fake? I just do not know. Speed that up and take a look at this. Maybe look at what the Corsairs are able to do. Yeah, the Zealots scouting that really, really helped. And you saw here Snow was moving units into his main base as well, just to make sure that if a drop came out, he would be fine against it. But then the units come back down and join here. Okay, so the Corsairs, this is the important moment. The Corsairs went back, and they just cleared the Scourge. I'm looking at the minimap. I don't know why we're watching this again that we already saw, but the Corsairs push the Overlords back. It's clear units are coming, and as it's clear units are coming, Snow sent his reinforcements that he had originally sent towards the main base. Whatever new units came out, we have actually walking towards this fight right now, and we're just rewatching these ridiculous storms. Yeah, they were ridiculous, but I think more importantly was him checking on the Overlords, recognizing no units there, and then sending his reinforcements down. All right, Hero, thinking deeply about what we're going to do in this next game. This is going to be the decider, guys. Whoever wins this next game gets that seed in the round of 16. A huge moment, no doubt. Oh, Sylphid 3. My brain just farted on that being in the map pool. So, Sylphid 3 going to be our final map, and this is always a fun one for Protoss versus Zerg. Looks like we are just about ready to get into it. All right. In the bottom right, we have Snow. There he is. Getting the proper camera shots this time. In the bottom left, we have Hero. Well, I'll tell you what, Sylphid is always a welcome map when it comes into the pool, although it is hitting those Eclipse-like levels that also Polypoid is in at the moment, where I'm like, I'm ready for it to go away for a bit longer. Let's leave it out of the pool for a couple years and then bring it back again, okay? Some of these maps do become a little bit tiring over time. Gotta tell you, I am definitely tired of Polypoid, definitely tired of Radeon, definitely tired of Eclipse, definitely tired of Sylphid. Very much enjoying the other new maps. Maybe not Match Point, that's a very old one. Not a particularly balanced one either. But either way, you know, PVZ. Oh, Snow checked there because normally an Overlord would be there right now. So he's going to think that Hero is up at the top, but Hero is not up at the top because Hero sent his Overlord in a different direction than what you normally scout with, which is an important thing to mix into your play. Now, will this cause anything negative to happen to Snow? I don't think so, but he might play it more defensively as he gets up here and sees no hatch. He might be like, oh, shoot, add the forge right now. Right? See this probe coming down? He's... Okay, now he sees, oh, the Overlord just went in a different path than expected. But he has to... Does he? Well, I guess he doesn't have to add the forge, but he should. Because if it's a 9 pool again, he just dies. Right? If he goes Nexus, then Forge, and it's 9 pool, he's dead. Now, it is hatch first. So that's not going to occur. But Snow had to play safe here. So just changing the scout pattern of that Overlord made it not Nexus first, but rather Forge into Nexus. And that's the power of sometimes changing your scout patterns. Even though the scout is in many ways more valuable, if it parks immediately over the natural, you get to see like production and the gateway and is this, how fast does the Forge spin, how many cannons, that type of thing. But in this particular case, right, he did get Snow to slow his build down to play safely. So very cool to see. Okay. Scout from Snow goes up, sees the third hatch at that mineral base. Gas goes down in the main, and we'll see what builds are going to be utilized here. Wow, he's going to get that probe pretty quickly, actually, this game. Nice pick off. Now, the photon cannon warping in, a few lings going across the map. And there's the Hydralisk Den. So we're going to see a proper 3-hatch Hydra Rush coming out of Hero here. This is not like a defensive, I want to protect my Overlord's timing on that Hydralisk Den. This is the, I want to kill you because you don't have enough photon cannons timing on that Hydralisk Den. He's already killed the probe. Snow knows that this is a real possibility. When you lose your probe that early, alarms go off in your head. Uh-oh, this could end up being a Hydralisk all-in. And is Snow able to get a probe out there and properly scout? Well, he's going to send a Zealot. Starts kind of pressuring forward. He's checking how many lings are there. The thing is, it could be a trap. You never know. There could be more lings waiting behind. Speed could already be on the way. Right? These are things that Snow has to think about. You can't just right-click that. If he knew there were only 4 lings with no speed on the way, he would just send it. Right? Probably bring a probe out as well just to make sure he gets there. But you can't know for sure. And if he sends it, the one Zealot, and there's a bunch of lings and speed, he loses the game because he can't block the wall. So now a second one comes out. He starts to pressure forward a bit more. The Overlords are still watching him. He pulls back. He's still a little bit nervous. This still could be like a speedling all-in. You never know. Pulls back. What? What? Robotics facility? What? He's going Corsair Reaver? The madman. The madman. So Corsair Reaver, at one point in StarCraft 1 history, it was thought maybe this could be a standard opener. It's not a standard opener. It's been years and years and years. It is not a standard opener. Now, it can do very well against this. And he's the best Reaver user ever, right? So who knows? We'll see. Now, here comes the rush. Reaver Tech is a ways off. If he can hold it with the photon cannons, he's going to be really far ahead. Oh my God, this is so close right now. The Reaver is going to be a real problem for Hero with no layer, no spire. If you don't have Scourge to pick off that shuttle, man, Snow is going to completely abuse you. But that's part of the reason why Snow isn't as good at this matchup. The Spire is a quick opener, and it just stops the... Yeah, he hasn't seen it. Zergling vision is not high. Basically, Spire Tech just stops Reavers from doing what they want, which is why Corsair Reaver was kind of a thing, and still on some maps gets utilized. I don't remember the last time I saw it on Neo Sylphid. I probably have, but... I don't know. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I haven't. Okay, the Hydras are pummeling the wall, and that's unfortunate. Definitely wants that +1 to finish, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Yeah, he cancels it out. Not going to bother. Doesn't want to lose that money. You don't lose all of it, but the first Reaver is out. Probably you are going to want to get shuttle speed here as Snow as well. I'd imagine he has shuttle speed on the way. Well, I don't know, actually. 500 something gas. Maybe he doesn't. Now, there is a counter if you see someone playing Corsair Reaver. And Hero doesn't know that yet. He doesn't know that it's Corsair Reaver. But once you do, a popular counter from back when it was more popular as a build is to go burrow. And what you do is you leave a group of Hydralisks on the edge of your base burrowed, and as they fly over it, you unburrow and target the shuttle. But you can't start burrow. You don't start burrow until you see it. Okay, Snow saw that Zergling. He knows that the shuttle has better vision. I don't know if Hero saw that. That might have popped into vision. He wants to get out through here. Okay, shuttle speed is done, and he's finding the path of no vision. The Corsairs helped him to identify that. That's really, really strong. And here we go. This is an important moment in the game. The first Reaver drop is going to be the one that's surprising, that has the most potential for damage. Okay, here we go. Oh, all right, already got a couple. 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got the Hydra as well. Okay, he got about 8 drones. Maybe I miscounted. Could have been 9, but I think he got 8 drones, and now he's gotten 3 Hydras as well. Ooh, just barely takes those extra shots. And you can see just how powerful Snow is with a Reaver, if he can utilize it. The Spire is almost done. We'll see, like, are you going to go Mass Scourge here as Hero? The thing is, if +1 Corsair attack is on the way, that's not going to work out very well. Does he try to get Burrow for the older way to counter this? I don't know. I don't know what Hero's thinking about doing right now. Scourge coming out to try to help some. Second speed shuttle coming up as well. 4 bases right now for Hero. Snow has a lot he needs to get done right now. He's, you know, the supply is kind of close. But part of that is because, oh my God. Part of that is because Snow is so teched out. He hasn't really started heavy production. His supply will actually shoot up relatively soon. Now, 3 mutas come out, and this shows you just... This is why we don't really see Reaver openers. Look at how quickly he's going to be able to eliminate this. Still gets more drones. This was good, solid damage. The thing is, this damage never happens if it's a Spire opener. I want to make this really clear for people why this is kind of a rare and special game. All right, the second speed shuttle coming down. Ooh, juicy shot incoming. Mutas, in the meantime, going after the photon cannons that are warping in. Snow is just trying to get any value he can with this Reaver and Zealots. The Mutas get left for too long. You know, there was micro going on elsewhere. So Hero lost track of what was happening over here, and the Corsairs just absolutely railed his Mutas there. So, again, the supply looks close, and normally I would be like, oh, wow, Hero's way ahead. Snow doesn't have that many gateways yet or anything. I think Hero is a little bit ahead, even though he lost a lot of drones there. He's on 4 base. But Snow's supply looks different because of how much he's spent on tech, right? Oftentimes, this supply will jump up after this. He's got, you know, he's bought shuttle speed. He's got the, you know, Reavers. He's got High Templars now. He's got Corsairs. So, like, his actual gateway army is very, very low, but he's got lots of splash damage. Although he has lost 2 Reavers and 2 Shuttles, right? And a few Zealots here and there. Ooh, a DT drop, actually. Wasn't expecting that. Protects the Shuttle, but the DT probably will get picked off. We'll see. The Overlords are still slow, unfortunately, for Hero. Yeah, getting some more drones. Very interesting game we have here. All right, Snow's going to take his third base. It's going to be that pocketed third base. The mineral patches are lower. The gas is lower. It can be easily defended with Psystorm. You know, the Hydras have to come in from little chokes to get you here. All right, a lot of Hydras out onto the map. Look at the amount of splash damage he's going to have, man. Between Reavers plus all these High Templars. And he's got the Shuttles. He can save. Don't forget, the Shuttles can pick up High Templars. So he could theoretically save snipes. I've not seen that very often in StarCraft 1. StarCraft 2, it's the most common thing in the world, is to hide your High Templars and Shuttles, or Warp Prisms in that case. I've seen it a couple times against Zerg here. Obviously, it happens all the time against Terran. But against Zerg, it's very rare because it's almost easier for them to kill the Shuttle than the High Templar. All right, here we go. Dude, you're not breaking this. You're not breaking. Yeah, and Hero figures this all out very quickly as well. As he looks in there from the double-pronged attack he was looking for, it's like, no, no, no. Still, Hero has very healthy supply. He has a lot of units coming out. Snow has his third Nexus warped in. He's sending a bunch of probes now. The gas warp-in is actually a little bit slow on that. A little bit surprised that he didn't get that gas yet. Although Reavers are gated by minerals as opposed to gas. It costs 100 gas, but tons of minerals between Scarabs plus the 200 mineral cost of the Reaver. Hero taking another base. So Hero's going up to 5 base against 3 right now. Ooh, good snipe on that High Templar. There was a lot of energy on that thing, too. Snow is attempting to take his own 4th. And don't forget, the 3rd he took, it is really smart if you take that as a 3rd to instantly take a 4th, because it runs out too quickly. If you take it as a 3rd and play it normally and take your 4th at like a more normal time, that base will already be gone. Like, it will run out at a similar time to your natural. A lot of games. I mean, obviously, it matters when you take it and everything, but it's like a big difference in how many minerals and gas are there. Okay, the Corsairs unfortunately fly over a huge wave of Hydralisks and lose quite a few of their number. Still putting some damage onto these. The High Templars getting some storms down. Insane amounts of splash damage here. The Reavers trying to get some good high-quality Scarabs. The Hydras getting in on top of the cannons at the natural as well. Look at how many Hydras this is. The Reaver is definitely helping. Another couple storms over here. Looks like that might have even been dropped out of the shuttle. Oh, he's accidentally targeting an egg. That is a huge mistake. He would have already killed these easily. And the High Templar. Dude, that was actually kind of a big mistake from Hero there, targeting an egg. It's going to get an egg nickname, Hydra Egg over here. That was a big mistake. It's a bunch of free units for Snow. Not necessarily game ending, but, you know, if he loses, maybe that's part of it. All right, Reaver coming over to try to help here. You can see a lot harder to utilize the Reaver than the Psystorm, that's for sure. Is he going to be able to save this? Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, he's just barely going to be able to save this Nexus. That might be one you can snipe with Mutas. That's really low. Okay, more Hydras are being fielded here from Hero. His 5th base is up. No drones here yet, but he is getting the gas. 4th base now mining from Snow. He's trying to hold on to it, leaving quite a few units up there as well. I don't know which way this game's going to go. This is a highly contested series right now. The Observer checking for Scarab damage. No Scarab damage upgrade, at least as of yet. I don't know that we're going to see it either, honestly. I feel like this is not the game for microing Reavers. You just got to get a lot of High Templars out here. Not that the Reaver won't be useful. But yeah, I think if Snow spends every mineral and gas he has and just keeps his units in smart locations, this becomes really hard for Hero. See, he's just now getting the Queen's Nest. You get the Queen's Nest at times like this because you're looking at it and you're saying, oh gosh, I can't kill him with Lair. You know? You're looking at this and thinking, I need Plague. Like, yeah. And you're right. I feel like you need Plague to take this game down from here. Snow is perfectly defended everywhere, it feels. Or not 100% perfectly, but he can reinforce each location quickly enough. But look at this macro from Hero. Tons of hatcheries. That is a very low Nexus. Too bad you can't shield battery a Nexus in this game, huh? All right, so the Hydras are still moving about. I think that this is mostly just zoning techniques, just moving army around a little bit. Try to keep Snow in a defensive stance as long as possible because he is taking the 6th base at that natural at the top. Not that many bases left on the map that are super takeable. Okay, sets up. Okay, this is a funny lurker position. Wow, that's a funny lurker position. So he's zoning out attacks to the north. That's a lot of army to have over there. Snow really has an option to leave through his natural up into the center of the map. Now, that might trigger a strong counterattack from Hero with his like lurker containment-esque army. No, he's going to leave the lurkers there and bring his Hydras to the other side. Because, right, like this... Oh my god, that's a lot of units. Holy crap, that's a lot of Lings. Adrenal is not done yet. So these are not very good yet. And they're fighting against 1-2 Zealots. It's not going to go well for those Lings. Yeah, they have no Carapace upgrades. So as long as Snow's upgrading attack, he's going to be have the edge for a while against the Lings. Shuttle going to the main. Yeah, it's a weird positional game right now. So Snow kind of controls the bottom center. The rest of the map is mostly Heroes. Now, 4 DT drop is a really cool thing to bring in right now. These things deal damage so quickly. Right now at 43 damage a swipe. He's got a lot of Corsairs still, despite losing some earlier to flying over the Hydras, and he's going to kill a ton of Overlords. Now Snow's starting to walk forward. A lot of really clumped up, grouped up lurkers here. Now, the Observer got sniped very, very fast by Hero. That was a really smart, quick decision because he has those lurkers there, and now there's no detection to just walk through those anymore. But look at how much these DTs have done. It's kind of insane. The Corsairs have killed a lot of Overlords during this time as well. Yeah, no Observer over there, rather. Definitely have to pop out some more of those. He's utilizing his Robo like a lot right now. Still trying to make Reavers, still trying to make Shuttles, but needs those Observers as well. All right, big Ling Lurker attack coming down. So this is where if you do have the combo of the Reaver plus High Templar, you're going to do a lot better. Double Archon, double Reaver drop. Not what I expected to see coming out of those 2 Shuttles. The Reaver, sure, but those Archons are a really interesting choice. Like, Archons have really high damage, don't forget. Base 30, plus 3 per attack upgrade. High health as well for tanking. Like, kind of a cool idea. Double Archon, double Reaver drop is not an expected thing. Look at this. The Archon's still left alive. killing a lot more overlords here as well. Snow maxed out, getting his mineral base. But we're going to see a lot of bases disappearing now. Main empty, natural empty. Third base going to be empty soon. He might have kept lower probe saturation. That's kind of a good move, is to transfer probes off there as soon as you get a fourth and just keep it really low saturation to just, you know, keep your overall income high. Because otherwise you just drain it instantly and you have all these extra workers that aren't doing much. But yeah, he's taking that fourth base, that mineral-only base. Even that's going to be pretty useful right now. Especially, again, because he has the Reaver tech already going. And Reavers are more of a mineral-gated unit. I think right now what Snow needs to do is continue zoning exactly where his army is. I know that's kind of like a cop-out. Like, he needs to do what he's doing. But Snow's playing a godly game here. Like, if he just keeps zoning for that mineral base and then eventually takes the high ground base, what do you do as hero? What do you do? Like, he's grinding you down with so much splash damage and getting enough bases himself. That's the king tier play there. Snow moving forward, maybe onto the side of the map here of hero, but he's going through the choke. Against the Zerglings, this is going to be really strong. Oh my god, that storm. Storms the overlords as well. Just the rally points in general. Oh my god, is Snow going to get that seed? Well deserved if he does. He is the one that Flash eliminated in the round of 8. Dude, Snow is just breaking right through. I thought he needed to keep zoning down there. But the fact that he cleared like every Zergling so quickly, and now all these lurkers are clumped up trying to run in to defend. I think Snow definitely should pull back here. You don't want to stay and fight in there. Anything that goes into there is going to be slaughtered. Great storms continue to go down. Lurker count has fallen dramatically. A lot of workers got killed as well. That fourth base location looks like it has very few drones. 12 o'clock, no drones there yet either. DT walking in, getting some kills at both these bases. Damn, that multitask from Snow is so strong. Going to be able to knock out every single drone here. And yeah, it's looking like he's going to end up killing off pretty much the entire economy. I don't think Hero's got much left in him in this game. 190 supply against 123. Right now, Snow looking poised to win this seed into that round of 16 to be a group leader. Mass Zealot coming up with only a couple of lurkers there. I don't think Hero's going to be able to hold on any longer. I think we're about to see a GG come up. Yeah, he's going to be clearing all of these bases. Hero is still fielding a few more units, but you can see his supply is down to half of what it was. His final attacks are going to get cleared up here. And we are just about at the end now. Magnificently done. What a hurdle to overcome here for Snow. Hero who has been a thorn in his side. It's like Sulky, Flash, Hero, Soma. Those are the guys that have really eliminated Snow so many times. And Hero, I think, actually chief amongst them, if I can recall correctly. Might have the most Snow eliminations of everybody. Yeah, Hero right now, he's trying to hold on, but GG is called, and that is going to do it. Snow is going to take this down, and he gets the seed into that next round. Fantastically done here from Snow. Very, very well played. I thought his series against Jaedong was magnificent. His series here against Hero, he did get caught with that Nexus first build against the 9 pool. What are you going to do? But overall, just played fantastically. Stopped the kind of cheesy in game 3 and in game 2 and in game 3. And I love the Reaver build as well that he went with. The fact that he opened Corsair Reaver is super interesting as well. I mean, I guess it's decent on that map compared to some other ones. But Snow will be the player advancing to that next round. Well, advancing for the seed in the next tournament. So there are your wildcard results. Snow 2-0 over Jaedong, Hero 2-0 over Tulbo, and Snow 2-1 over Hero. It was a great day. We now have our 4 seeds set, which means that the qualifiers can commence. It's going to be 2 ASL season open tournaments like we had last season. And it's also going to be, well, I don't have a translator here for you today, but it's also going to be the 2 regular qualifiers. So those will all end up being on ArtosisCasts on YouTube. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.